Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is
Fawaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got some stuff. We've got PlayStation Plus games and games with gold. We got Injustice characters, Wonder Woman and Blue Beetle. We got Rainbow Six Siege DLC coming. We got Persona 5, a new feature, and a bunch of Sonic news, all being revealed at once. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we played this week. So I finally finished Tokyo Mirage Sessions. So that was really good. Like I said before when I was talking about it, it's a really, really fun to play JRPG with the comboing and the sessions. One of the things that I was obviously waiting for is that when you're playing like these kind of like, JRPGs or whatnot, I feel like you're kind of waiting for that oh shit moment where like things get really, really hype.
Yeah.
And there was the one that I always think of is the moment in Persona 4 where you use the final move to end the boss.
Okay.
And the name of that move is perfect. So that I was waiting for something like that. And there's a moment in this game where you get to all the characters sing the final song, and it's the perfect song to sing at the end of this game. And I should have seen it coming, but when they started singing it, I was like, "Oh, that's great! That's fantastic!"
Oh my god!
But I had a lot of fun with that. I was glad that the final boss wasn't like ridiculously hard, because that's the always thing I fear is that because I know this is SMT cross Fire Emblem, right? And some of the SMT bosses are they're not fun to fight.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm making allusions to that Persona 3 boss.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
There's I talked about this on the podcast before, but there was a Persona 3 boss that had a AoE attack that did random debuffs. Yeah, there we go. Oh man, that was a rough time. But no, it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with that. Other than that, I've been playing a bunch of Monster Hunter. That game is a lot of fun. Multiplayer is also a lot of fun. I still don't like how stats are kind of done in that game, but I'm getting used to it. Like, kind of just going with the flow now. Okay. Overall, not much to say. It's just a really fun game. I think it's weird for me to say this, but I really like this game. And I'm excited to see how Monster Hunter going forward is going to evolve and change,
Okay.
Because this is like we're making big changes to the series, right? We're trying to evolve. How you're trying to how Pokemon doesn't really evolve that much. It's just the same game over and over with slight changes. Well, I feel like this one is actually getting bigger changes as the games progress, so I'm excited to see what happens in the road. But overall, 2 really, really good games. Highly recommend you buy them if you got the time and the money. Anyway, what you play this week, Fawaz?
Okay, so I finally got around to playing Overwatch. The big patch hit, Ana came out, McCree got buffed into Oblivion. Zenyatta and Diva became really good, and so I decided to give Overwatch a little bit of give it a little go. Yeah, Zenyatta is really good now. Some people are saying everyone agrees McCree's too good right now. In fact, Blizzard actually nerfed him on Tuesday. So like 1 week later, they had already nerfed him. So yeah, they reduced the range because right now people are joking that he traded in his revolver for a railgun because it has no fall off anymore. Like the ranges where it has fall off are ranges that you are not normally fighting at. So it pretty much has no fall off now. So they added fall off. Fall off starts at about 20 meters, which is pretty good.
Right.
And then they also buffed his fan the hammer because, like I said, in a gameplay video I made of McCree that you can check out on our YouTube page.
Yeah.
I was like that they should be focusing on the hammer. So they did. They increased the rate of fire. So now the bullets come out a lot faster. And they also reduced the amount of time. After he stuns you with a flashbang, he can move a lot faster now.
Okay.
He can move a lot. He can shoot a lot quicker now. It's by like 0.2 seconds, but whatever. So anyway, they tweaked McCree, and then I got into the game. I tried a couple of characters. Tried out Anna. She's really hard. She's really hard to play. And a lot of times you forget that you're the healer and you're sitting there just trying to snipe other people. And it's like, oh shit, actually, I'm an idiot. Yeah, the first game I played with Anna was terrible. I felt so bad for my team, but I was like, sucks for you guys. I'm making this for the channel, so y'all gonna have to hold that. Zen's really good. Diva's really good now. I don't know if they're looking to toning them down a little bit. It's really early. It's very early right now. But like from a competitive point of view, Zen has like a very, very, very high pick rate. We pretty much just traded Zen for Mercy because no one picks Mercy anymore. Everyone picks Zen now. So that's not really balanced. So we'll see. We'll see if they tweak Zen a little bit. Diva, I don't know. Some people are saying that Diva is too strong. I don't know.
I disagree with it. I think Diva.
But then you play Diva, so.
But no, I disagree with that in the sense where I think Diva is good, but I don't think that she's overpowered. Because it's like she's not rinsing people or anything like that, and I feel like there's more strategy involved with the defense matrix.
The defense matrix, like, here's what people are discussing right now. The defense matrix change was necessary.
Yeah.
She got melted. She was a tank that couldn't, like, I joke about this, but this was actually true. I found it easier to kill Divas than Lucios. Like, that just should never be the case with a character with 500 HP. 80% of which is armor, right? So the defense matrix fixes her biggest flaw, which is her gigantic headshot hitbox. However, what some people are saying is that maybe because she can just flick it on and off, on and off, on and off constantly, maybe people are saying that maybe they should increase the cooldown by a little bit. It has like a 1 second cooldown, maybe increase it to like 2. So she's not just spam at armor. Because like unlike Reinhardt's shield, the defense matrix can block almost everything and it can't break, right? So that's what people are saying. I don't know yet. Like for me, like with McCree, even before the patch hit, I was like, this is too much, right? But with Diva and Zen, I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Because here the thing is that most people don't, because Diva has been bad for so long. Most people don't even know how to deal with Diva. They're just like, oh, she just doesn't exist as far as a lot of other people are concerned. Same with Zen. Like, Zen has been bad for as long as this game has been out. The only people who know how to deal with Zen are people who played open beta, right? So that might be part of the problem is that people just don't know how to play against these characters yet. So, I'll give it a couple of weeks. Even if they're too strong, they're not strong to the point that it's detrimental to the overall game, right? McCree made Pharah obsolete. People stopped playing Pharah completely because McCree just, you're in the air, bam, 3 shots and you're dead. And if you have a Discord on you, it's 2 shots, 1 headshot. It was insane. So I played a little bit of Overwatch. I finally finished my my placement matches. I went 5-5, which kind of sucked. And then I got placed at like rank 52, which also sucked. I was hoping for like the sweet rank 60. But then I played a little bit of Dark Souls. Okay, that's a lie. I played a lot of Dark Souls actually. I think I'm far. I'm not sure. I'm at the Smoldering Lake. Well, I just cleared the Smoldering Lake. I killed this giant demon dude.
That's about like I'd say you're maybe almost halfway.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, that's cool. So far, the Watchers of the Deep, I don't know. I guess they heard me talking shit about how easy the game. Oh no, Abyss Watchers.
The Abyss Watchers. Oh yeah.
They heard me talking shit about how easy the game was. So they were like, okay, well, Jack the Ripper says he wants a challenge, so we're going to give it to him. The funny part was that the first part of the boss battle was so easy. Like I beat the first half without getting hit so many times. The second half, oh my god. I spent the whole day on that fight. Like, it got to the point where because I was in a party with some friends, I just had to unplug my mic because I wasn't concentrating enough and they were probably getting tired of hearing me scream. So, eventually I beat them before I went to bed. But, yeah, that was it.
It's a really cool boss fight, though.
It's a cool boss fight. The soundtrack is really good. But yeah, like what made the boss fight really difficult was that in the second phase, his attacks all have lingering hitboxes, so it made it very hard to dodge. And I'm still getting used to the Dark Souls dodge. There's a lot of bosses where there's like a couple bosses. I beat the demon, the big flaming demon dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
beat him, and I think I beat the Watcher this way too. Was that I ran out of health. I was at like 10% health, and I
Right.
ran out of vials. Right. So I pretty much I two-handed my weapon, and I was like, all right, well.
Go for the extra damage. Might as well do it.
There's nothing else to do now, right? This shield is completely useless now. Put the shield on my back, and I was like, let's go. And then, because the damage increased, and I don't know if it increases my mobility. I don't think so, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
It
but
just
then
increases
just the
damage.
fact that because a lot of times I'm always stuck between because in Bloodborne you just dodge, right? That's all you have. You dodge or you parry. But in
Right.
this I'm always stuck between should I block here, should I dodge here? So I was like, well, I've got no choice now. I'll put the shield on my back. I just gotta dodge, and it's funny how that actually makes me play a lot better in a lot of situations.
Mhm.
But yeah, man. Bloodborne, no, not Bloodborne, Dark
Dark Souls
Souls
3.
and Overwatch. That's what I was playing this week.
Nice, good stuff. Well, let's get into some news. We got PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold. So the
Yeah.
Games with Gold for the month of August, it's going to be Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate, WW2K16.
WWE.
Well, yeah, whatever. The wrestling game. Spelunky and Beyond Good and Evil HD.
Oh my god! I should just call it WW.
WWW.
Sorry?
WWF 20K16.
This isn't 1994.
No,
it's
no, it's
WWE.
WWF. No, that's what it is. Okay, there we go. So you got it right. It's perfect.
I love this guy. Not a bad list. I'm actually surprised. This is the second time 2K have given out a 2016 game for free. Yeah, so good on them. Good on them with WWE 2K16. I stopped playing these games. I think the last one I played was 2006 actually. So it's been like 10 years since I played one of these games. But I would have given this a try, if I owned an Xbox One.
Right.
But I don't, so I will not be playing this. But not a bad
Beyond Good
Beyond
and
Good and Evil is a good pickup. Unfortunately, it's not. Oh no, it is. It's backwards compatible. They're all backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're getting 4 games on your Xbox One. Beyond Good and Evil HD is a very very nice pickup. The PS4, the PlayStation Plus list is not as good. Well, okay.
I think it's just kind of meh.
Yeah, let's go. So we got Tricky Towers and Rebel Galaxy for PS4. Never heard of either of these games. Yakuza 5 for PS3.
Yes, I was very happy because I've been wanting to get my hands on a Yakuza game for a while.
Yeah.
And
Retro/Grade for PS3. Never heard of that. Patapon 3 for the Vita and Ultratron for the PlayStation ecosystem. So yeah, like Tricky Towers looks like a co-op Tetris type game. Rebel Galaxy looks okay, I guess, but Yakuza 5 is a nice pickup for the PS3. Real quick, I actually want to give Sony a quick shout out. The PS4 list is kind of whack this month. They had a nice streak, so it's it couldn't last. They had a nice streak. But what I want to give them credit for is that 2 years later, no, almost 3 years later, they're still supporting the PS3 really well with the instant game collection. They've gotten some really good games.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I prefer if they just completely what's this thing called deserted the PS3. But that's me just being greedy, right?
Yeah.
Because like
you personally would rather more games on the PS4, but I know that there are people who are like, no, I would rather there be some free games on the PS3.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
Where I'm coming from, though, is that like they've had so many free games, so many awesome free games on the PS3, right?
Yeah, you would rather have more free games on the PS4.
On the PS4, because like if we're being honest with ourselves, like the PS4 is lagging behind in that regard, and a lot of these games are really, really cheap on the PS3 now. Like they had Mass Effect 2 for free, but I can get Mass Effect 2 for $5. So like a lot of these games are really cheap. No, but I'm also being selfish there. I'll 100% I will admit I'm being selfish there. But you do see where I'm coming
No,
from.
I do understand.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But overall, pretty good month for the Xbox One, and kind of air month for the PS3. I'm actually surprised Deus Ex isn't free on either consoles, considering it's coming out next month. It is coming out next month, right?
yeah, it's coming out in August.
Okay.
I think it might also be because they might have actually already given the game for free at one point. Because I
Yeah,
think I remember Deus Ex being free at one point. So
yeah. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. I know it's been free on the PS3.
yeah, so that's probably the reason why.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why. Yeah, August 23rd, in
Yeah,
case any of
August
you guys
24th.
were wondering.
Oh, I'm excited.
So yeah, on to the next little bit of news, unless you had anything else to add.
No, that's overall pretty much all said and done.
Yeah. So Comic Con passed this weekend, and there wasn't as much video game news as I was hoping. To be completely honest, I was hoping we'd get an announcement of like this Suicide Squad game that's been rumored to be in development for like the past decade now.
Yeah.
However, what we did get was Wonder Woman and Blue Beetle revealed for Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Now, Wonder Woman, as tends to be the case with all NetherRealm games, looks like a man. So yeah, there's that. But
I don't think she looks that bad.
Like, I'm just kidding. They have improved. From like MK9. Oh my god, all the women in MK9 look oh my god. But yeah, she actually doesn't look that bad in this. I'm just being a troll.
I was like, does she have the right voice actor? Yep, that's the right voice actor from the cartoons, and it should stay that way. Because that's the Wonder Woman I know and love.
But yeah, she also keeps a lot of her moves from the first Injustice. She looking at the trailer, unfortunately we didn't get a gameplay walkthrough, but she still keeps she had this one move, was a combo ender of hers in Injustice, where she uses her lasso of truth and she pulls you in. It gives you better okizeme, which for those that don't know is like knockdown. When you knock someone down, it gives you like you mixing them up after they've been knocked down is Oki. It gives you better Oki. And if you spent bar, it also buffed you. I think it buffed you or it debuffed them, one or the other.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, in a 1v1 game, they're all the same. Then we got Blue Beetle, which was a pleasant. Honestly, sorry. Because I'm watching the trailer right now. I just have to say, I actually do have to apologize. She really doesn't look that bad. I was just being a troll.
I was like, yeah, you're full of shit, boy.
I really am sometimes. Blue Beetle, and we got a brand new character in Blue Beetle, which is pretty awesome. DC have been trying to push Blue Beetle for so long. They've been trying to make him a thing. You know, they gave him his own comic when they relaunched the New 52 a little while back. It didn't really work out. He had a really big role in the second season of Young Justice, and now he's being introduced into Injustice. Unfortunately, people just do not care about Blue Beetle for some reason.
Well, I don't. The problem is I don't really know that much about Blue Beetle. I know he was a Titan at some point, but that's really
a Titan.
Yeah, he was in that new Teen Titan movie.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking like from the Greek mythology point of view.
What?
I don't know why. That's why I was so surprised when you were like he was a Titan.
He was a Titan, yeah. You know, he was hanging around with Kronos and, you know, all those good fellas, you know, fighting off that God of War, you know.
Oh my god. Yeah. They put him in the Teen Titan movie. Yeah, you see what I mean though, right? They've added him to the Titans now. Because like he wasn't a Titan before, right? They've added him to the Titans now. They're really trying to push him, which I give them credit for, because I've always criticized DC for leaning too much on the same characters. And by same characters, I mean Batman. But yeah. His thing is that he has this little alien thing that attached to him, and it gives him the suit and all his powers and stuff, but it's also sentient. Yeah. So part of his storyline is that he's trying to overcome the little beetle, the scarab. I think it's called the scarab. Yeah. But yeah, Wonder Woman and Blue Beetle revealed for Injustice 2. They look pretty cool. I mean, like, we all knew Wonder Woman was coming. I guess they were trying to save it, because this year is actually Wonder Woman's 75th anniversary, for all those that don't know. So I guess they were trying to save it for Comic-Con and they'd reveal her, because they had a big 75th anniversary bonanza for her at Comic-Con.
They released the new trailer for the movie and whatnot.
Oh yeah, check it out, by the way. It's a pretty good trailer.
It's pretty good. That top comment I saw made me laugh very, very hard.
What's the top comments?
it's it's bad, but there was a top comment in which in the trailer she goes, "Are you a man?" because she lived in an island of
That's it.
Amazonians, right? And then the top comment was, "Did you just assume my gender?"
So
I was just like, "Oh man."
2016, ladies and gentlemen.
2016. Topical.
Yeah. But yeah, Wonder Woman Blue Beetle looking good in Injustice. Okay, they also showed off like the different armors that they can have, but that armor thing, I'm still on the fence about it. We shall see. But yeah, Wonder Woman and Blue Beetle looking for the cast is shaping out pretty nicely so
Yeah,
far.
yeah, I think the cast is overall pretty good.
Mhm.
But next on our list, we got Rainbow Six DLC coming, Skull Rain.
Skull
Skull
Ray.
Rain. I love all the names of the DLCs like Black Ice, Skull Rain. Like they're all pretty good names for DLC.
Yeah, so this one is going to be focused more on you're getting a new map, the Brazilian Favela, which is going to be the map's going to be completely free,
Yep.
and then we're getting two new operators. I'm going to butcher these names, so bear with me.
Yep.
Caveira and
Caveira.
Capitão. Sure,
Yeah.
let's go with that. I'm just gonna read the codes of the operators.
Yep.
Caveira, I'm just gonna call him Caviar. It's the defensive operator of the two. As such,
Yeah.
I assumed her.
That's the best. How did that happen?
Caviar is the defensive operator of the two. As such, she possesses the silent step skill that enables her to sneak up on enemies to immobilize and then interrogate them to reveal their teammates' location. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds one of those things that could be either really cool or completely useless.
I feel like honestly it would be very useful because knowing where the enemy is in that game is vital to survival. Like using cameras and whatnot is very important in that game because what you want to do is you want to know where an enemy is before you turn a in and just walk into a shotgun. So
But then don't enemies like stick together?
Depends. There's actually some operators where they actually work better kind of going solo or
Okay.
trying to flank around the enemy.
Okay. So then I guess she'll feast on those kind of characters.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
Our arsenal includes an M12 and a SPAS 15 for primary weapon. Aren't those both shotguns?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And a PRB 92. I have no idea what that is as a secondary, probably a pistol then.
Yeah.
And the Nitrocell C4, okay, and barbed wire for gadgets. As the attacker, Capichao carries a tactical crossbow that can fire asphyxiating bolts that burn oxygen within a certain radius. Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So AoE, as well as micro smoke grenades that mask positions and team movements. Capi, also has an M249 and a Para 308 for primary weapons. PRB 92 as the secondary, so they both have the same secondary, and the frag and stun grenades around her available arsenal. So they're both women. Oh,
there we go. Slowly and surely, we figure this shit out.
Yeah, because they didn't release an image.
We're just reading quotes.
Yeah, so just reading quote. Maybe they did, and it just wasn't on the. No. Even on the Ubisoft website, there was no image. So yeah. And then there's one other thing: a new custom game mode called Tactical Realism.
Yeah.
Prevents players from marking enemies, allowing only the timer, compass, gadget, and weapon panels to be visible in the HUD. Additionally, there are no kill confirmations, and more realistic magazine management will be put into place. So the magazine probably works like Helldivers magazine, where if you reload, you lose all the ammo in that clip.
Yeah,
the idea is to push players to rely even more on their teammates and communication for information on enemy location and kill counts. Now, you know more about this game than I do, so I'm going to let you,
talk about it. Well, overall, I think this is overall good. I mean, the new mode, I think, is going to be fun. Like, honestly, I don't know how much I'll play it, because honestly, this game is really freaking hard to play, because there are matches in which, you'll start the game, and a minute later, you get killed, and then it's like, well, You know, because they're one life games, right? It's not
Mm.
like Overwatch where you die and you spawn back and you just go back into the fight. This is where you surviving matters, and you need to not die.
Mm.
So I feel like this is overall pretty. This will be a pretty interesting mode because it's just like we want it harder and less easy. Because one of the things is that you kind of rely on the kill cam a lot in this game because it's like, all right, I died. I'm gonna tell my teammates where I died and where this guy was hiding, right?
Okay.
Because in a lot of games it's about getting the drop on your enemy, like either you shot a hole in the wall and you waited for your enemy to just walk down the hallway thinking that it was safe when it actually wasn't,
Mm.
or you set up the perfect trap or whatnot, and
Okay.
it's sort of like it's in a weird way like a lot of the matches either turn into this guy fell for the trap or this guy didn't see the gun coming. It doesn't really. It's not like there's not too many firefights in the game,
Yeah, I
but
can
it makes it
imagine.
more. It makes it more tactical in the sense where it's like it's usually all right. I played my trump card at the right moment, kind of deal.
Mm. Okay.
So I feel like these two operators are gonna add another interesting layer to the game. I'm interested because although I find funny is that I feel like sometimes certain operators come out and then it makes other operators a little less obsolete. Like for
Yeah.
example, the Capitio operator, the one that has the crossbow that fires
Yeah.
asphyxiating bolts. It sounds very similar to Smoke, who has the little smoke grenades, like the toxic smoke grenades. But the difference is that the toxic smoke grenades are they're fixated to one location and you don't have much range on them, right?
Okay.
So you can only really use them as a trap or like a close quarter thing. Whereas this thing you could use as like a longer range kind of thing. So I feel
Okay.
like it will be a little bit more effective in that regard. But overall, I think it looks good. Like honestly, every new operator they add to this game, I think, fits the meta fine. Like there's no operator where I'm like, this guy seems completely useless. Like what's the point?
Hmm.
Like the only operator that I thought was a little bit kind of broken was Blackbeard with
Oh,
his
really?
with well the reason why I wasn't the biggest fan of Blackbeard is because Blackbeard's whole gimmick was he had a freaking shield over his head. Well, he had the shield on the gun, right?
Yeah.
So as long as he was aiming the gun and this game headshots matter. Like headshots really matter and having a shield around your head is a big deal. So like I don't know. Like he was the only character I was kind of like because I didn't find him that interesting.
Okay.
But everyone else so far I think has been a good add to the roster. To be honest, I kind of fell off playing this game a bit ever since Overwatch came out. But I definitely am. I definitely am gonna probably come back when this goes up fully and the characters launch. Like
Oh, yeah.
forever.
Speaking of which, they are launching on the 2nd of August, so next Tuesday.
Okay, there we go. So I'll probably pop back in, see what's changed and whatnot. Because I know like they actually have done a couple of buffs and debuffs to certain operators.
Okay.
So I do like that. I like that they're being consistently. All right, we need to update a couple things because like they're like, all right, which operator is not getting used at all? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know Tachanka is one of them because his turret makes him very easy to shoot at, and his turret takes a long time to put down. And they had to they ended up buffing him in a way where it's like, okay, now his turret can be placed faster. So it's a lot quicker to like put his turret down or like take it apart and bring it with him.
Okay.
So yeah, no. Overall, looks really really good. But our next little piece of news, there was a bunch of little Persona 5 news snippets and whatnot. They showed off a bunch of characters, some little side questy kind of stuff, some of the side characters. But one of the more interesting things that they showed is that there's going to be sort of like a Chalice Dungeon feature from like Bloodborne, in which on days of the week you can go into this like little shadow dungeon. You jump on. It's kind of weird. The cat character that they've been showing off in all the trailers. That cat character turns into a bus.
Oh, so that's what that was happening. That's what was happening.
Yeah, and
Because
then
I
you
saw that trailer, but I had no idea what was happening.
yeah. But you jump on her bus, and then she brings you to this little dungeon. And the interesting thing about this is that it's procedural. So it's like every time you go into this dungeon, it's going to be different, right? So different loot, different enemies, and whatnot. And what I like about this is one of the problems with Persona 3 and Persona 4 is that every time, you train and whatnot, a day passes, right? But yeah, you would continue, time would pass in Persona, and you would get less time to train because you have time limits. You have to, beat this boss before a certain day passes, right? So I think this is a really good feature because it will allow you to grind out your characters, get items and whatnot, without progressing the timeline. So I think it's overall a really good feature.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I completely agree. That was a problem. It's to be fair, I didn't really like honestly. I played Persona mostly as a high school simulator. Like I
Yeah.
would go to the dungeons. I'd beat the dungeon in one day, just so I could go about chilling with my friends and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe this will encourage me to actually play the RPG part of the game. We shall see.
Yeah,
We'll
for
find
sure.
out in February.
I guess we will. And then our last piece of news is a bunch of Sonic news. So a bunch of things got announced. First off, Sonic Mania, a 2D pixel-based Sonic that has a bunch of new zones and revisits classic zones from the older Sonic games like Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 2, and they also announced a Project Sonic game, which is a new 3D Sonic from the creators of Sonic Colors and Generations. And finally, Season 2 of Sonic Boom is coming.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of Sonic news all at once. So that was pretty nifty.
Yeah, this year is his 25th anniversary.
Yes.
It's been 25 years. I can't even believe it.
Yeah, 25 years.
25 years of Sonic. Unfortunately, he's not in the best of places 25 years later. But hey, all these games look like steps in the right direction.
Yes.
The Sonic Mania, it's a pretty cool retro type Sonic game. And then the new one, I mean, we didn't see any gameplay, so who knows? Every time they announce a new Sonic game, everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a return to form," and then the game comes out and it's poo poo. So,
well, it's funny because I think they were smart because they grabbed the people who worked on Colors and
Generations, which are two of the best Sonic games of probably the past decade.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, that puts a lot of faith. That puts a lot of faith. The trailer implies that it's gonna be present Sonic and old, shorter, chubbier Sonic working together. So that's pretty cool. It's funny, when I was watching the CGI trailer, I was like, oh my god, is this a sequel to Sonic 06? That's exactly what I've been waiting for.
Oh, yeah.
But then it turns out that no, Sega's heads are not completely up their asses. So actually, Sega has had a pretty good year. I mean, they announced Valkyria Chronicles. They announced that this year, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like early in the year.
Then they released the HD version, and now it looks like they might be doing Sonic right. But let's not hold our breath because Sega are like Capcom's younger brother. The second you start to have faith in them, that's when they stab you in the back. So we shall see. But overall, I like everything I've heard. Sonic used to be like I used to be a huge Sonic fan.
Yeah.
I bought the comics. I was more of a fan of the comics than the games, to be completely honest.
I mean, I was a pretty big Sonic fan back in the day. I loved Sonic 2 was my first video game I ever played, and I actually watched a lot of the TV show. So.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the games have just never connected with me, and then pair that with the fact that all the more modern games are garbage. I've just never been able to get into Sonic as a gamer, but we'll see. Maybe this will finally turn things around.
Yeah.
For the Blue Hedgehog.
I'm really excited for Sonic Mania, that 2D pixel one, because that one looks really, really good. It looks like what I've been kind of wanting Sonic to do for the last while.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also got some questions from the wonderful J Streets. Our first question is, should Sony continue to compete in the handheld market, or is it clear that the PSP whatever is never going to be a success? Yes, the PS Vita is never going to be a success.
So you want to go first?
Sure. You know what? I don't know. I really don't know, because the problem is that yes, the Vita it's not going to be that much of a success. But it's a better system. Like after, because Fawaz lent me his PlayStation Vita, and I can safely say the PlayStation Vita is a better system than the 3DS. The downside is that the 3DS just has all the games and has a much bigger variety of games to choose from, whereas the Vita, you're limited to a certain smaller pool of video games. So I don't necessarily think that they should just give up on the market. It's just because clearly it's just the problem. The problem isn't the system itself. The problem is the lack of software on it.
Yeah.
So I just don't know, because I feel like what would be the best case scenario? Let's say miracle happened and then finally Sony got their shit together. It's like, all right, we're gonna support the Vita. We're gonna have cool JRPGs. We're gonna have fun little party games that you can play with your friends on the bus or something like that. We're gonna put a lot of effort into the Vita and make it better. Or do you think that it's like, all right, Vita wasn't exactly a good success. Should we try and do a different handheld and make it better this time and commit to to having software on it? Because that's the biggest thing. It's I think the biggest thing is that if Sony wants to compete in the handheld market, they've got to put as much effort into it as Nintendo has with the 3DS. But then again, you could also argue that the reason why Nintendo has such success with the 3DS is because they haven't really put that much effort into their console, which is the Wii U. So you could argue that most of their effort has been going into making good 3DS games and not good Wii U games. So I don't know. It's either... I think it's just... I don't think that they should necessarily give up, but it may be time to say goodbye to the Vita and try a different system altogether.
Okay. So I'm going to tackle this from two angles, right? As a... Looking at it as, the Vita versus the 3DS, no, I don't think, I think they should give up on the Vita. The Vita's dead. The Vita's done.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure, I don't think they should necessarily give up on handhelds, right? Yeah. However, this is predicated on the idea that handhelds are not dying. And I'm not sold that handhelds aren't dying right now because of smartphones, right? Smartphones have really chewed into the handhelds market. Handhelds are still huge in Japan, and they probably always will be. But in North America, they're really not that popular anymore. You have the DS, which prints money, but the PSP did really well, right? So it's not like Sony cannot produce a handheld that works well, right? So so let's assume the handhelds aren't dying. Let's just do it that way, right? Because let's not even get into that discussion right now. If handhelds are actually not dying and there's still a market in the world for handhelds, then yes, I don't think Sony should give up on handhelds. I think they should give up on the Vita. But they made a couple mistakes with the Vita, right? I don't even think it started with the games. It started with the memory cards. Straight up, right?
Yeah.
Because they announced the Vita and everybody was like, "Oh wow, this console is so good. It's got so much stuff." And then they announced the price and everybody was like, "Wow, the price is really good." Then they announced that you had to buy memory cards separate, and then they announced the prices of the memory cards. And that right there was what killed the Vita, in my opinion. Yeah. Because when the Vita first launched, it had a decent library of games. It's just that they slowly they weren't adding anything to that library, right? So then the library started drying up and now it's pretty much just a running gag amongst gamers, right? And Sony have the first party studios to support the Vita. They've got probably the most first party studios of any. They've got the most of the big three. Yeah. So it's not like they lack for the manpower to support the game, right? Then they can also there's also there's the PSN downloadable games. You could probably make a couple of those cross-buy and cross-play and cross-save. And I feel like there is room for a handheld for a PlayStation handheld. Sony just needs to figure out the right angle to approach it from, you
Right.
know? And yeah, so but they need to honestly they need to just put the kibosh on the Vita. Just straight up come out and
Yeah.
be like, okay, we dropped the ball. The Vita's dead. Check out this new PlayStation handheld.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's kind of like what it's kind of in a way. I want to see what I want to see them do what Nintendo is doing right now, in which they're like, okay, the Wii U didn't work out. Time to start out fresh with the NX, right? Like,
mm,
that's I think that's kind of what I think it's kind of what Sony needs to do with the PlayStation Vita. It's like, all right, the PlayStation Vita didn't work out. Had some interesting ideas though, but we can do better next time.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Because I'd buy a PlayStation handheld. Well, I bought a PlayStation handheld. I bought both of them actually. I bought the PSP and I bought the Vita, and eventually I stopped playing both of them. Not because I didn't like the handhelds, because they just weren't any games that caught my attention. The
mhm.
sorry, Nintendo's handhelds have just always had better games. The other thing is that I feel like Nintendo have a better grasp of the kind of games that people appreciate on handheld. Okay, yeah. This is
Yeah.
one thing that I did that I think Sony need to do. They need to stop trying to make portable versions of their primary console. What I mean, right, is
Mhm.
that you look at the DS, you look at the Game Boy, you look at all of them, and there are franchises that only
Mhm.
exist on those consoles, right?
Right.
Whereas Sony have always, sorry,
No, no, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing.
yeah, Golden Sun and
Mhm.
Pokemon off the top of my head, right?
Yeah.
Those franchises primarily only, I mean, you have big console versions of those games every now and then, but primarily if you want to play Pokemon, you need to buy a handheld or a
Mhm.
cell phone now. But yeah, Sony always do this bad thing of just trying to make portable versions of
Yes.
games that you can just play better on the PS4. So
Mhm.
like Sony need to stop doing that, and they need to focus. They need to create IPs specifically for their handhelds. Now they tried a few. They tried like Gravity Rush, and eventually they gave up on that. They tried Gravity Rush for the Vita, but outside of Gravity Rush, look at the Vita's launch lineup. A mini Uncharted, a mini what's this thing called? Wipeout. Wipeout, is
Yeah.
that the name of that
Wipeout.
game?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, mini Uncharted, mini Wipeout. Then they added mini Killzone eventually, mini Resistance. You see what I mean? Okay, they had Tearaway, which was a really cool idea, but then they also had mini Little Big Planets
Yeah.
and mini Persona 4. And then sure, it's like there was a couple extra stuff that they added, but it was still just mini Persona 4,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's one thing that I think Sony need to do if they want to make their next handheld. If they make a next handheld and they want
Mhm.
to make that next handheld successful, they need to focus on making games exclusively for that handheld. Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can only get Monster Hunter on the DS.
Pretty much at this point, like the Monster Hunter has been pretty much stuck to like the 3DS for a while, like
Mm.
3 Ultimate, 4 Ultimate generations. 3 Ultimate was kind of a stretch because like you could technically buy it on the Wii U as well. Um, but still, like Monster Hunter has been solely a 3DS game. Another good example would be like Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem for a while, or at the very least since Awakening, has been a 3DS game, right?
Yeah.
So like if you want to play the next Fire Emblem, you're gonna need to get a 3DS. If you want to play for example, if you want to play the next Shin Megami Tensei game that isn't Persona, like just Shin Megami Tensei, you're gonna have to get a 3DS because that's where the series is. So yeah,
Yep.
Nintendo is pretty smart in the sense, and I feel like they also know like what kind of games people want on their handhelds. Like
Yes.
people people don't really want to play an Uncharted on a handheld
No,
because
of course
Uncharted
not.
is meant to be this really good looking shooter game, right?
Yeah.
It's not really meant to be a portable experience. So it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the whole point of Uncharted is like, I want to show this off to my friends and be like, oh, look how freaking good the graphics are in this game, and have cool cinematic moments on like a big widescreen. It doesn't
Yeah.
really have the same effect if you're on like a tiny PS Vita screen because
Yeah.
you can't really show that off. Like it looks like all things considered, it looked really good when it came out, but it's still like that's not where its market is.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's yeah. Yeah, so I definitely think that that's one thing that Sony needs to work on. But no, I don't think they need to give up on the handhelds.
No.
No, not yet. I think there's still hope there. The next question, because Jay hit us up with two questions, is a follow-up question from last week. Where last week Jay asked us, why we thought that gamers didn't know how to play team-based games, and this week he asked, what can game makers do to educate or help promote teamwork in Overwatch, Smite Law, etc., etc., etc. Well, my first suggestion is to just call the human population and cut out all the idiots, but obviously that's never going to happen. So then my second suggestion would be to add more. Add better tutorials, right? Like I play Smite and I play Overwatch, and the tutorial in both games were terrible. Were it not for Jason teaching me all the nitty gritty of stuff that I should and shouldn't do in that game, I would have been terrible at Smite. And were it not for the fact that I watched so much competitive Overwatch before the game came out, I would have been terrible at Overwatch. I mean, I'm still not very good at Overwatch, but you get my point.
Yeah, no, I get your point.
Yeah, Overwatch is I'll focus on Overwatch's tutorial primarily, right? It doesn't cover any of the modes at all. It doesn't even explain what the objectives of the modes are. So like right out the gate, F, right? It covers one hero, Soldier 76, the most generic hero in the entire game, right? The hero that anyone could have figured out how he works by themselves, So like the tutorial is terrible, but then I feel like they did a couple things right. I think character specific trophies were a step in the right direction because that would they assumed anyway that would encourage people to play different characters. They were wrong. Yeah. It didn't. Yeah. But I think they should add like character specific. People are always asking for more single player content. For me, I don't want a story mode. I give three shits about a story mode in Overwatch. What I hope that they add is like a challenge mode. You have a couple of challenges that you have a couple of challenges for each character, right? And then those challenges go over how that character's abilities work relative to their teammates. That is one thing that a lot of people need to remember. Like the best example of this is Mei. Like Mei and her ice wall. Mei's use their ice wall thinking of it relative to the enemy, not relative to their teammates, right? So a lot of the times you have Mei's trapping their teammates in with the enemy, and it just doesn't even cross their mind, right? Because they don't think 6-on-6, they think 1-on-6, right? There's some things that people just need to learn through common sense, right? Don't filter in one by one. These are things that the game just can't teach you. These are things that the game shouldn't have to teach you. You're going in there 6-on-1. What exactly are you hoping to achieve? These are the kind of things, like, there's only so much developers can do.
Yeah, but even still, I do get what you're saying. One thing that I will give League some credit, League of Legends in particular, is that whenever a new champion comes out, they have this really good champion spotlight videos that they release. And in that video, they explain, this is how all the abilities work, and more importantly, this is how to win a team fight with this character, and how the abilities kind of bounce off others. And this is really good because they'll show you all right, here's a team fight where we were successful with this character. Here's a team fight where we weren't successful with this character, so cool. And this is why. And it's a really good way of explaining how the new champion works and how you should use it in a team-based environment. The other thing that I will actually give Overwatch some credit, and I think more games need to have stuff like this, is in Overwatch when you're in the hero selector and you're picking your team, right? In the top right, in the right corner or the right side of the screen, it has little notifications that pop up, say you have too many snipers, or you're missing a support, or you don't have a tank. Yeah. And I feel like that's a very important thing that more games need to have, because that flat out tells you, hey guys, you can do this team, but just so you know, you're missing a tank or you're missing a support. You may want to switch out one of those 3 Genjis for someone else. And I think that's an important thing. To give the players information about what their team comp is. Because especially in games like Smite and League of Legends, there's not really a guideline where it's like, all right, this team comp might not work, just so you know, because you have players who go I'm going to play this champion, right, or I'm going to play this hero, and they think, oh, whatever, it's going to work out fine. Where there's certain heroes or champions that don't really work together very well,
Mm.
So I feel like if more games can like say, FYI, these heroes don't work very well together, you should probably pick someone else and you'll have a higher chance of winning, the game, right?
Yeah.
I think stuff like that, but it kind of comes down to just having better tutorials.
Yeah. That thing you mentioned about how we won a team fight this way, we lost a team fight this way. I
Mm-hmm.
think I honestly that is such a beautiful idea
Mm-hmm.
because it's because here's the thing is that a lot of people and see this is, I make jokes about people are idiots, but a lot of the times people just they don't understand how these decisions that they're making are negatively affecting their teammates. It just
Yeah.
doesn't cross their mind, because
Mm-hmm.
most people don't think in a critical fashion like that, right? They don't
Right.
make a play and they're like, was that a good play? Was that a bad play, right?
Right.
So for using you going back to my May example, if they posted a video and it was like, okay, here's this team fight, the team rushed at us 6v6. The May blocked off the choke points, splitting them up, something that I see like barely any Mays ever do online, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Splitting them up, so then we went 6v3. We wiped out the first three. The May dropped the wall. We killed the remaining three. We won the fight, right? And then it was like, okay, check out this team fight. The May blocked in our Mercy with the Winston, and then the Winston just shocked the shit out of her. We lost our healer, and then we lost. So then Mage would actually start thinking, okay, cool, I'm throwing up this ice wall. No. To be fair, you can. There's a saying. I don't know where this saying comes from. You can take your horse to the ocean, to a river, but you can't force it to drink, right?
Yeah.
You can put all this stuff in the game because to go back to your other example, talking about how Overwatch has this really cool system that teaches you about team composition. I was playing a game today where we had one healer on the team. The healer goes back to spawn, switches from Lucio to Torbjorn. And like I'm 100% sure when he switched to Torbjorn, the game said no healer, but he didn't care. He still picked Torbjorn, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you can put all this stuff in there. There'll always be idiots. There'll always be people who think they know better. One other thing I need to add though is that Overwatch thing is kind of flawed in a sense because like it says no, like it creates subcategories, right? Like you have your attack, defense, tank, and support, right? But then there's also subcategories in there, sniper, builder, and all that stuff, right? Unfortunately, it didn't focus on the right subcategories because one subcategory that doesn't exist is healer, right?
Okay.
It can be like no support on your team. You pick a Symmetra, and then it tells you that, oh, you're all good. When in reality, you aren't. You don't have a healer on your team, right?
Right.
It can be like no tank on your team. You pick Roadhog, and to be like you're all good. When in reality, you aren't. You don't have a shield tank on your team.
Right,
So, like, it should have... And then the other thing it does is that it's also... Like, for example, you could have a team of 1 DPS. Let's say Reaper, Roadhog, and Zenyatta, right? And then it would be like low team damage. When in reality, your damage is not low. Because, Roadhog is a tank, but Roadhog has one of the highest DPSs in the game. And sure, Zenyatta's a healer, but Zenyatta's DPS is insane, right? So it also... Good, it needs some working,
but needs some work, but I think the concept of it is still a step in the right direction. It's still important, and it's something that will help educate players when they're playing these games.
It does. There are a lot of times that I have seen people, they actually paid attention to it. They were like, okay, cool, we need this, we need that, and then they actually picked based on that, right? So it is most certainly a step in the right direction, and it helps newer players. Like for me, like I said, I watched a bunch of games before I came in here, before I started playing. So what's this thing called? I understood like basic team concepts and all that stuff. But if I was brand new, that would have definitely helped. We're building a team, and it's like, okay, you need a healer, okay, you need a tank. Okay, your damage is too low. Okay, you have too many of one hero. Okay, you guys have 3 snipers. What the hell are you doing?
Right.
But yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, to answer your question, Jay, I think game developers can definitely do more. I definitely think using Overwatch as an example, there's so much more that they can do. But with all of that said, at the end of the day, there'll always be idiots. There'll always be people who just don't pay enough attention to all this stuff. There are people that just don't use these things that they've been given. They think they know everything. They think they're the best, and they're going to go out there and feed. So, yeah. But no, I definitely think developers can do more. And I think just more tutorials.
It's more tutorials and just more design elements like that in Overwatch, in which the game actively tells you that, okay, you may need to do this, or you may want to do that, or recommendations and stuff like that. Like I really like another example is like League has, you know how it has different items that you can build, right?
Yeah.
Well, League has a list of recommended items that work well with that hero. And I feel like more stuff like that is important, right? Because you know how I think you had one time where you were talking about how in Smite you didn't know what items you should get, right?
Yep. If it wasn't for Jason, I'd have had no idea.
Exactly. So there needs to be more like implementations like that in which the game will give you recommendations of what to build or what kind of heroes complement each other and just basic tutorials on how stuff works and how it doesn't work. But overall, I think that's what we need to do at this point. But great question, Jay Streets. If you got a question for us, don't forget to leave it in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, this was William Liberty and...
Well, I'll see you guys next time.